It's my video.
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to another lovely Saturday morning. And we are here once again to answer your questions about Star Wars Galaxy. Oh God, I'm echoing somewhere. Oh God, there we go. Okay. So, welcome to another lovely Saturday morning with Jedi Academy, and of course, technical difficulties with RSG. That's kind of standard here. I am Finity with Reality Scoot Gamers, and let me introduce you to the rest of this awesome panel here to answer your questions. And while I'm introducing that, get in your questions in the chat to get your questions answered by the folks. Please make sure that you start out your question with the word question so that our bot can pick up your question, just like the instructions say over right yonder over here. Include the word question in there, our bot will pick it up. I will queue up your question and then proceed to give it to said panel. So let's go ahead and start by going around the corn and introducing everyone in the panel. The first one directly next to me is Mr. Clash DOE. How are you doing this morning, Clash?
Good morning. How is everyone?
If it wasn't for the technical difficulties, I would be but otherwise,
Right there with you, buddy.
doing well. Yeah, I think Nev is aware of that too. So let's go ahead and just jump to him then. Next up is Mr. Nev from the Escape Podcast.
Hello, everybody. I'm a recovering swugger addict, and I'm getting over my addiction by playing copious quantities of DSA.
You're also playing Galaxy of Heroes still. That defeats the purpose of being a recovering anything. How the hell are you recovering if you're still playing the game as an addict?
It's a new method.
Oh my god. Oh, this is starting off as a lovely morning. All right, next up is Mr. Good Old Maurice from Operation Metaverse.
Good evening, everyone. Or morning. Good morning, everyone.
What time zone are you
We are on fire
Dubai
today.
And to be fair, it's evening for someone out there.
That's
Good day,
true.
mate. Let's throw another couple of shrimps on the barbie.
This is gonna be a fun one today. I can already tell.
We've already started out fantastic. Okay,
This is gonna be a good one.
let's see how we continue this. And then next up, we have the lovely lady Jedi Master Astra.
Good afternoon. See, we got to cover all the bases now. You got morning, evening. I'll cover
my
the
God.
afternoon part.
God. And next up,
that would put you in Europe.
God, I'm really hoping he's not going to say goodnight. Next one up is Warrior. Warrior, how are you doing this morning?
What's going on, everybody?
This is starting out fantastic. So, yeah, and of course, Chad is asking what day it is. Yeah, it's one of those days already. So, welcome to Jedi Academy. You guys are not familiar with Jedi Academy. It is a question and answer stream. Again, get your questions into the chat by using the word question in your question, and then that'll get picked up by the bot, and I will queue up said question for the panel. So, starting out, we'll just go around the corn like we always do, starting with Clash. Been kind of a quiet week this week. Not really a lot of news. More videos and stuff that we've seen about Rey and Kylo, and then of course the issue with the test account. So pick the topic that you think was the most important from this kind of quiet week, Clash. And what are your thoughts on it?
A couple things. I feel like I've heard you say around the corn twice now, and
Yes.
I want to make sure that I'm hearing that right, because
100%.
I didn't know that was a. Is that right? Is that the way we say it?
It is. So, a little backstory. Grande, if you're familiar with Grande Patron, probably has a little bit of brain damage. And he has just come up with some of the most ridiculous phrases. And so one of them has now become with RSG around the corn. So anytime we ask people anything, it is around the corn. We actually had a shirt made at one point with a little corn
nice.
in it, with around the corn on it. Yeah. So
I
yes.
love that. I need to go back and watch a few of these things and catch up on my RSG lore for of what I heard, because I was like, wait a second, I don't think you're going to say it. And you said it again. I was like, okay, there's something there. I have to address it.
Yes.
I am doing well. Two main things that happened this week. One, personally, I cut my own hair for the first time since I was in high school, and it actually worked out pretty well. So I might be doing a video on that at some point in case any of you all are quarantined. Your hair is getting a little, crazy.
Did you use a Flowbee?
I did not use a Flowbee. I used basically like it was almost like I was Kanan, just completely. I don't know what the back looks like still, honestly. I tried mirrors, it doesn't really work. I just kind of used what I felt was right, but I did try to channel the Force and just kind of go with what I thought was the best. So
you didn't go Edward Scissorhands and just.
I know. So that was a personal milestone. Felt really good about that. Secondly, I think on the test accounts, obviously I'm a little disheartened because there's been so many good things that have come out of that for people. I personally have never had one, so I I've only been a benefactor of the work that people like good old Maurice and others that have it put into it. I am a little bit so kind of happy because I do have my account and my alt account on the same shard. So any of the footage that you've ever seen me put where I do defensive theory crafting, it's me trying my little mini alt versus my account. So that's basically how you're going to have to do testing in the PvP world. And for me, I think that's gives a little bit of a credibility to collaboration with your shard mates and other things like that if you don't have access to them.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Well, since we're on the topic of test accounts, let's go to Warrior first. Kind of Warrior, you used to have it. You've kind of known about and talked about the relationship between the game changers and former game changers, however you want to call them, and then the devs, how it's kind of gone worse and worse. So what were your thoughts when you first heard that the test accounts were pulled?
Well, that officially happened yesterday, late yesterday. The accounts were shut down, and they didn't get all of them. Okay. They think they got all of them. So I'll just leave it at that. They got all of them that they remembered about. I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, yeah. It's bigger than just the game changers. It's not they're trying to be spiteful thing. I think it's far bigger than that. The other thing is I saw, I actually do. I mean, I know someone left a message on one of my videos this week and they were like, you just don't know. It's so much has changed since you left 3 months ago. And I'm just like, dude, I'm good. I know what's going on. So anyway, but nothing has changed. Nobody's been fired over there. The Cubs fan Han video with the 16 people fired, whatever.
Yeah.
That is not the case. Listen, that was on April 1st, first off. So there's a chance that was part of an April Fool's joke. The second part is they hired a new guy there, and his job was to transition that Capital Games. They bought a new building because they were going to be doing 2 titles out of the same building, and their building was really only big enough for 1 title. They were going to be doing 2 titles, and he was a transitory individual who was supposed to be able to run basically basically teams out of 1 unit, and they almost a year ago started working on a new title, and a lot of focus started going towards the new title. This is when I noticed them starting to kind of care less, and that's when I started to get frustrated because I felt like they were putting us on a shelf. We were elf on a shelf, and I was just like, this sucks because I feel like we were not getting our full due. Like, we're the ones making, the millions of dollars. Like, don't do this to us. The other title doesn't matter as much. And I know it's a new title and you got to keep fresh meat and you got to have, fresh titles and you got to keep going forward. And Capital Games is a company that they're always going to be defined by the next game that they're working on, kind of thing. But Star Wars, The Galaxy Heroes is still a massive game with a massive future still potentially. And they keep talking about this 5-year plan, blah, blah, blah. So for me, it bothered me that, even a long time ago, they started transitioning out of that, and they scaled back the team that was working on Star Wars Galaxy Heroes and all of that. So when you see the list of 16 people they're hiring, there's only a couple of those people that were going to the Star Wars team. The rest of them are people that they're ramping up on the other team. for the other game, which means that they're about to probably get ready to start going like alpha on the new game. So probably in the next 6 months they're going to be launching a new game, is my guess. Capital Games will be launching a new game, so I'm interested to know what that is. I'm just curious what that is. But there's something new coming out in the next couple of weeks for the game. That's what I'm really curious about, event wise. So I'm just curious more about what they've been working on in the last couple of weeks for you guys in game content as far as events. So that's really what I'm just been more interested about the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And good old Maurice, it looks like you're about to be taken advantage of. That is a really creepy background.
That is, like, you are right in the middle of that man's crotch. I mean, that was...
Benson was coming for you, buddy.
That is much better. Those pugs
Yeah.
are cute.
That was... I can't do ranger voices, but Dan, that was like a Bubba right behind you, ready to take advantage of you, good old Maurice. Why the hell would you even put that picture behind you? You're on mute, too. We can't hear you.
Oh, because it's hilarious. No, but my you guys just saw my strength photo editing there. That was really one of my strong points. Yeah, you know who that is. Everyone knows who that is, unfortunately, or they should. Anyways,
right.
was there a question to me? I'm sorry.
Just in general, your thoughts about this past week. Anything in particular catch your attention? We've kind of talked a little bit about the test accounts being pulled, kind of
who cares?
Then the CG. That was one of the other things Warrior mentioned, which is the CG job openings. That one seemed to get more attention than I thought it deserved, but that was there. I don't know.
Well,
anything else for this fight week?
I think Warrior got it dead on. The test accounts weren't pulled, I don't think, because somebody made a bad video or whatever. I think he's right. They got a bigger plan and picture, and there were very few test accounts. I mean, all the game changers have them, but very few of them use them. Warrior being one of them. Warrior, Arnold, Cubs, Mobile Gamer, the guys that got them real early on, the original OG game changers. They had real developed ones, but for the rest of us, it was such a pain to develop those. Not too many of the newer game changers, newer X game changers, if you will, really got into them that much. It was nice to play around and test, and I got a little test drive on the Kylo and Rey events before I did it myself. So I mean, it's handy for that stuff, but it's one less thing I have to do every day now. So I'm kind of pumped about that. But I think, I don't know. I mean, they who knows? Game wise, I just literally got Kylo 10 minutes ago. So
Congrats.
Yeah. So we'll see how that ruins my Grand Arena. We'll see. but I don't know. I don't know. It's been a fun week. I think they found a new interesting business model. The hurry up and spend money on refreshes so you can hurry up and buy gear. So you can spend money to hurry up and spend more money. That's a new interesting game mode there, model they have. So
it's working.
Well, I mean, I took it kind of slow. I was kind of proud of myself. I got all the gear and all the refreshes for probably about 75% of a vault. So that was pretty good. So I'm pretty pleased with it. I was a little prepared, but yeah, just rambling now. So
Nev, save him.
To the next person.
Yeah, well, I mirror to what Warrior and good old Marie says. I mean, I said it last night that they've had a second project on. These hires are all for that second project. They're all for that second game, with the exception of one of those jobs, which was SWGOH specific. So I said right from the beginning, it's a nothing burger. I didn't know why. I mean, Paul wanted to talk about it, so we talked about it very, very briefly, and that was it. The test accounts, they're gone, and I said that the person that I feel the most sorry for is Skeletrix, because he was Skeletrix is the content creator whose content is purely, obviously, and was purely based on that test account, and he was the first person. Had to say it. He was the first content creator to do a one-team solo of the Heroic Sith. The first. He was the first. Not the other person. He was the first. Forget the jailbait titles. He was the first. So yeah, I'm a little bit gutted for him. I think he's going to miss out on that. But I think yeah, that was it. There's so little this week.
There is. But we do have questions coming in. Astra, let me ask you too before we jump into questions here. What were your overall thoughts on this semi-quiet week?
Well, while all that stuff was going on, I'm just over here having fun with Ray. I'm in my own little world.
So what are your initial impressions of Ray? Now that you've had some chance to kind of play with her and stuff, and still don't have the ultimate unlocked, right? Or do you have the ultimate?
Not yet. I'm hoping today, if the ticket drops are good, I'll get it today. If not, I'll for sure get it tomorrow, because I'm 9 out of 10 right now, and I still have some more refreshes. So we'll see. I might end up getting that to like 68 out of 70 or something mean. It's like I need 2 more. So for sure tomorrow, luck today. So I'm hoping today, because that would be cool to just be 100% done. But other than that, the testings have been a lot of fun. I've been trying a different team every day. I've been using a bunch of random Jedi combinations with her because of that whole light side synergies. And then, have to use Jedi, of course, because why not? And there's a lot of cool, just random teams you can do. But of course, the heart of the team is just going to be her with a resistance, mainly the handbag bros. That's usually going to be the common. The 3 of them are pretty much the core from what I've noticed in the more serious testings that I've done. So, but I'm also just loving that I'm the only one with her so far. Like, it's so nice because, everyone has their maxed out, General Skywalker or Darth Revan teams. So no one really held position. So I would sometimes fall to like the 30s, and so this time I'm firmly in the top 5. I have never dropped out of the top 5 since having her in there. So I was like, this is so nice. But so I'm waiting though for other people to get them, so then we can do some tests against each other. One guy has Kylo, but he's not geared up yet. Last I looked, he's at gear 11. So I'm like, come on, any minute now, he's gonna throw that in there, and then we're gonna really get some good testing going. As then other people aren't gonna have them until I think a couple of them projected the end of this month, maybe beginning of next month. So before the influx, I'm enjoying being the only one and just having a blast testing, doing whatever I want, and so it's been pretty enjoyable. And I'm happy with her. She's not very good in the raid compared to Kylo, but that's okay.
How is your shard
awesome everywhere else? What was that?
How is your shard reacting to you having Rey? Is it difficult for them to beat it, or how is that working out right now?
Oh yeah, a lot. She's beatable. There's one guy that he's been able to beat it. I stopped him though this time, so I was so happy. But then someone else beat me. I'm like, hit. So I finally stopped that one guy, but then someone else ended up. But it's very, I don't ever drop past the 5. So I think only because I'm at rank 1, they try to, get that position. But then I just sit, in rank 2 or rank 4, depending where I drop from. So yeah, so I don't mind having to do one battle. I mean, it's much preferable than having to do a refresh and climb up, because sometimes I don't have time. So this has been a time saver too. Just auto my one battle, I'm good, and then I'll do my test runs when I'm able, later. And so it's been nice. Can't wait to have the ultimate. I'm just gonna. Someone made a GIF of it. I watched it so many times. I'm only scratching the surface of the combinations that can be done. With Kylo, we've been seeing some really strong arena.
Yes. Yes, we are. All right. So let's now jump into the questions here. And there we go. Okay. I think we should be back now. Just had a random little spike there. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump into the questions here. And again, keep those questions coming. Include the word question in there so the bot can pick it up. But first question, we'll toss over to Clash. And Clash, the question for you from Jeremy Lennon is any new scoundrel stuff that we can look forward to? Possible anti-meta comps?
That's always the goal, right? That's all. That's pretty much what my channel and everything is aimed at. What I am focusing on right now, and I've seen a couple of other videos back before the vets got their resistance tag. I put out a slide that showed some of my preliminary thoughts on what could be potential combinations. And so far, as I put in that slide several weeks ago, I'm really liking Z Finn as a leader for them. I think who was it, Arnold or someone put something out a couple days ago with them as a bug counter potentially as well, which I did a lot of testing just a couple of nights ago, and I've got a bunch of footage that I'm combing through right now. Still not as strong as I would hope, and I think it's because they're not. They basically are going to ramp up damage once the leader takes more damage, right? So if Finn is taking more damage, but I do still like Finn and Poe together. That dueling taunt between those two with the vets on either side. The fifth spot is where I'm really trying to work out what would be best. The rest of my resistance aren't that great, but of course the ones that I think held the most promise were pretty simple. If you put and I'm going to get a lot of grief for saying this, but if you put Watt in there and put the permanent taunt on Finn, it just basically keeps ramping up the damage on the two vets, which is nice. If you don't use Watt, R2 is nice for smokescreen and kind of giving you that same soft taunt on him as well. And then of course BB-8, if you get him to ID and then critical damage up, there's a lot of things it can beat. And I did pretty well against some pretty nasty Seps teams. I did well against some really good Night Sister teams. I actually have some footage on my server where I used it in Grand Arena once they did get their tag, using JTR as a lead as well against some really awesome Relic Night Sisters, and it got me. I think I only lost Finn as the leader there, so I think I was only 56 or 57 banners, but they were really high relics. So that's what I've been experimenting with most, is using my vets in the resistance combinations. But I still think there's a lot of viability in what you put there as that fifth, and maybe it's a Vandor or an L3 or something like that, and you kind of cross collaborate the two factions. But I am super excited. It's going to be a while for me before I get the new Rey. But until then, I'm really enjoying what that now synergy we have between the two factions is creating.
Very cool. I didn't think of ever putting Watt on that team, but I guess Watt's kind of one of those characters you can stake anywhere and somehow it manages to work out.
I get a lot of grief because I use him, and basically, if I could have 7 of him, I would still farm him.
Exactly. He is the plug and play character right now.
He is. It's ridiculous. Okay. Let's go to our next question, and that is going to be for Warrior. We have a few questions that I queued up from Thane Kyrell. He had submitted them because he wasn't going to be able to watch. So let's go to Warrior. Question is, do you think that 2020 or 2021 will finally be the year we see vehicles introduced? We really need a new arena and table, also a place to potentially farm more gear. A new shop would be nice too. A lot of good things could come with the introduction of vehicles.
If they're going to introduce vehicles, and I know they had talked about it in the past, if they're going to introduce vehicles, they will do it probably with the new raid that they've been discussing, and it would be probably the end of this year, like October-ish of this year. I guess timeline wise, my concern is that they're so far behind already for this year. I mean, everything for quarter one is not out yet, and it's already April. So, I mean, we're in quarter four of 2019, and we're in March or April of 2020. So we're about 4 months behind, and they know that. So something that would have been out in October of this year is possibly going to be February of next year, 21. So yeah, maybe as early as February of 21, there might be a raid, and if they do that raid, there's a potential that they'll have vehicles. I think vehicles is one of those things where it was a great idea. At the time, they thought, yeah, they were thinking big, we want to do this, but then they started looking into it, and I think I'm just thinking out loud here, but I think they looked into it and went, there's not as many as we thought there was. And so they probably are stepping back because they, and if they do vehicles, I mean, they could go that route, but I think that they're probably mentally stepping back from that idea. I don't know if they're going to end up introducing that at all because ships were not as popular as they wanted them to be. And actually, the development team hates ships. Weirdly enough, the development team begrudgingly creates ships, and that's one of the reasons why ships doesn't do well, because not only does the development team not enjoy that content and making that content, but neither does the actual player base. And so it's one of those things where they kind of do it because they feel obligated. But I think that would be the way that I think vehicles would be similar. It would be almost the same, if not worse. So I don't know if that idea will ever come to fruition, but if it did, it would probably be tested in a raid where they would try to integrate a few pieces of that in a raid and maybe give a couple of those in a raid and then see how that works out. And then if it works, then they would start to incorporate it more and more. But I think a raid would be the soonest we'd be getting a raid would be October of this year, and that would be if they have behind the scenes fixed stuff, which I don't believe has happened. And the probably more realistic timeline would be February of 2021. That's my guess.
There you go. Okay. Next question is for Jedi Master Astra. Question is for you from Dan Kyrell is, now that you have seen Rey's kit, what lineup are you thinking about using her with, and how far, and you answered this one, how far along are you to unlocking her?
Oh, yeah, I've obviously unlocked her.
And one ultimate mat away from fully, like the full-fledged Rey, right?
Correct. Yeah, I'm 9 out of 10, so just one more to go. So I'm looking forward to see how that changes it. Like, is it going to be enough of an impact for some of these counters? So that's what I'm really interested in. But as far as actual team combinations, there's quite a variety. I mean, I feel like there's still these possibilities that haven't been touched up on because of just the pure light side synergies. It's any light side team you can throw it with. But my main focus has been the resistance and then Jedi combinations. So for Jedi ones, it's been kind of fun having just anyone there. But for more viable ones, you need a tank. You have to have a tank there to be more, what do you call it, like more sturdy, more like just a better combination. Like if you go without a tank, you're more vulnerable to the counters. So sometimes a double tank is more annoying for that reason. So when one tank isn't taunting, hopefully the other one is. Basically, you're just trying to keep her protected so then she can destroy everything. So for the Jedi ones, GK of course is like staple. He's another one of those plug and plays in a sense, the ultimate tank. You just throw him anywhere. So him and old Ben, I did that a few times, the two of them together, and then I rotated out the other Jedi in those slots. Like I had Yoda, I had General Skywalker and Anakin. That was pretty funny having those two together. So one is always punishing you, and then Anakin gets pissed off and punishes you. So that ended up actually being a pretty solid. That was one of the more solid Jedi teams. But General Skywalker is kind of a costly addition in there because then that ruins your more powerful 501st comp. So arena, you can do whatever you want, but if you're thinking in terms of Grand Arena TW, you kind of need to think like what teams you can break up. So that's where, the Resistance one, that's you always have the Handbag Bros Ray as your core 3, and then I've been rotating out the 2 spots with that, and it performs better, like I said, with a tank there. So you always want at least one tank. I've put in L3 or GK. Those are kind of the top 2 tanks that I've used, sometimes together. That's pretty good too, having those 2, because L3 will start with the taunt. So then that kind of helps features the counters, and then GK is GK. So that's been kind of the main ones for that are stronger. But anything on offense, you can win with pretty much anything. Like I put a video out where it was just Rey plus Chewbacca. It soloed a General Skywalker team like no problem. I was like, man, too bad we can't set just 2 characters. Like it has to be a full team, in Grand Arena. Like it's hilarious just to set those 2 and just to see what someone would try. And like I would laugh so hard, they send in the Skywalker team and they die, from just the 2. We need a 2v5 setup for something.
No. We're probably heading to 3v3 Grand Arena right now, and I hate 3v3. I think you love it though, right, Astra? You like 3v3.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
3v3 is great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping, because they mentioned this in the Q&A, they could rotate the zones or something, change it up like a 3v3, 4v4, 5v5, like per zone. I think that would be fun.
We're gonna.
I'm looking forward to it. I love 3v3, but then I'm like, oh crap! I have one of these. I have Rey, so the odds are I'm gonna face someone with Rey or Kylo, or Rey and Kylo. So it's like this is gonna be a pretty insane Grand Arena. Because then I'll feel bad, sort of, if I face someone without a Galactic Legend. It's just I'll have an insane advantage from the start. So I don't know how that's gonna work. Like it'll be interesting to see how the matchmaking ends up, because they have that big GP boost. It was like a 41k boost for it, power. So it should only be those people with it facing those people with it. But some people who are lower that just focused only on the legend, they won't get matched up that high end, So there's definitely going to be this will be the time where people go for the Carbonite title, I think.
That's what I did last time.
Well, at least if you've got GL Kylo or GL Rey in the next GAC and you put them on defense and lose, and your opponent has neither, you know that they're APK hacking.
Not necessarily.
Well, you'll still report them for the hell of it. You'll still report it for the hell of it. That's the way to. That's the way to do it now. They beat my Galactic Legend character. They don't have it. Report.
Instant report.
Yep,
How dare you?
How dare you beat my character? All right. Okay. Next question is for the disappearing good old Maurice, who's just kind of the top of his head right now. Good old Maurice is back. Are you on
Posture
mute?
is the key to success.
Yeah, it was. You have a
Yes.
lovely top of your hat, I will say. All right. Question.
Stretch my spine.
Question to good old Maurice from Thane Kyrell. With a tease that a Death Star raid is coming to the game, what do you think the raid reward character would be? Since this will have both ground and fleet components to it, do you think this raid will reward both a character and its ship, or just one or the other?
What ship would it reward is the question. I don't know. That'd be new. That'd be something different. I hope it's not a ship, honestly. I mean, I don't know. That's my personal I don't know. I'm trying to think of characters that aren't in the game.
Still sad they said no to Porkins. Just straight up said no to Porkins. It was a very sad day when I saw that.
Yeah, but Porkins would be a pretty lame raid reward though. Like he'd be a cool character to have in the game that you could like farm from, the Galactic War Store, but also as a raid reward that'd be kind of disappointing. I don't know, maybe I mean we're getting some character obviously. I mean every raid has got given a character. I don't think we'll get two. I think it'll be either or, right? I don't think we'll get a character and a ship.
Well,
I really have no idea.
It can't be a ship only reward, and this is why nobody will care enough to play the raid, and they have to have everyone care enough to play the raid. So it'll have to be a character reward or a character and a ship reward. And so it'll be one or the other, but it won't be ship only, or people will just say, "Screw that, I ain't playing."
Yeah, it's a perfect time for Luke and his X-wing, right?
Yeah, I've
He
heard
still won't be a Jedi.
People have suggested not Jedi Luke. It'll be orange jumpsuit Luke. It'll be Red 5 Luke.
Yeah.
So that you can literally have the Red Squadron boys. You can have Wedge,
Red 5
Biggs, and Luke Skywalker back
That's
together.
an achievement now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the hints
So
for the
that
Death
would
Star.
be the actual
It's
ship
from Grand
reward.
Arena, though. The people that got all excited, those are Grand Arena achievements.
So what?
So no, I'm saying that they were saying those were for the raid, but those are Grand Arena.
Well, they're for Grand Arena, but they're thinking based on the title that it might be a hint towards the Death Star raid. We've had nothing for a week at Astra. Everyone is trying to grasp at straws.
Yeah, it's not going to be the
Fair
raid.
point.
It's not going to be the raid, but the feats, the two feats. I mean, we have feats in that we get during GAC that are not GAC related. Do X amount of battles using X amount of characters in Fleet Arena or in Squad Arena. So
or they say like use a specific character and then you get that reward. So they're always related to the individual or the character normally. So to call it that, it's kind of weird that it's not, that there's nothing that you can use to earn that right now.
shipping a character for I mean, I don't think that's what's happening from the 9th to the 15th. That's just Malik coming back.
No,
But
that's probably
the ship raid itself. Yeah, the orange jumpsuit Luke, Red 5 Luke in an X-wing would be, yeah, that would be a worthy reward.
I would be happy and sad, because it's like, oh, like another not Jedi Luke, but it's still a cool Luke.
Well, no, I just think something like that would really throw a spanner in the works, because they've just released 2 capital ships. We've had Malevolence, we've had Negotiator, and then, all of a sudden they make Akbar great again. Because
Rebels always come back.
Yeah. Well, but give him some kudos in the game, because they screwed him over in the movies.
Thane Kyrell just donated $2 in the super chat, so thank you. And he said, "Hi, Adastra, how are you doing?"
Hello, Thane. I am good. How are you?
God, Thane. Okay.
If he keeps donating and answering, that would be pretty funny.
Yeah. God.
Have a conversation.
Yeah, it's just like a conversation back and forth through super chats. It's ridiculous. All right. Here we go. Next question. Well, good old Maurice, I think we ended up kind of going around the corn on that one. So let me give you another one.
Yeah, because I had no idea. So
yeah,
so that was good. Good time.
Yeah. Well, so this is kind of a similar question. So Solar Warden asks, do you think the new raid will be tuned for a cruise ship with Gear 13 if they do come out?
A cruise ship, Gear 13?
Yeah, the ship crew having to be Gear 13 for their
absolutely.
Ship.
Gear 13 relic characters for this new raid. Just like the Sith raid when it came out. I mean, you had to have the Gear 12. Can't quite remember if the left side pieces were there or not. I don't think they were. If they were, they were new. So yeah, you'll need whatever the newest level cap gear requirement, whatever the maximum amount is likely what you're going to need to succeed. I mean, there's going to be you know, loopholes and little goofy teams that you can get away with lower gear characters. For the most part, you're going to need gear 13, probably relic. If I had to guess, gear 13, relic 5-ish type characters. If they don't even, if they may, I would anticipate the raid coming with some sort of progression increase as well, whether it be mods going up to like 6B, 6A, like we saw in the videos with the Ray having the purple mods, or whether it be a higher level relic. Maybe they do go back to this ability thing they spoke of at Relic 7, who knows? But I would anticipate something new, like character progression coming with it. So yeah, you're going to need them up there.
Okay.
My guess is too, you got to remember when Sith Raid came out in phase 1, we all had like one team that could do phase 1 team, and you had to get 2%. Everyone, 50 people in a guild, all 50 had to get their 2%. And if you couldn't get 2%, you had to back out and try again, and back out and try again, and back out and try again, and back out and try again until you got your 2% or more. And then if you got over 2%, you could keep it. And if you didn't, you had to keep going. And that was high-end guilds. Like, that was how it worked. Or you weren't allowed to be in like the highest end high-end guilds. And other guilds just didn't even get to attempt it. Like, that's just the way it worked. And so, you know, you had to really know what you were doing. And this is with teams that were utterly maxed out. So it's going to be completely maxed out, and then you're going to get 2% of the first round. Like, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult.
If they do announce,
scary thought, because of the characters we have now. So you're talking, you know, the early days when we were more limited, but now we have all these OP characters. Like, what kind of mechanics is this raid going to have to stop, you know, like the Galactic Legends, for example, to stop the 501st, you know, these so, you know, very strong teams. So I'm kind of scared, like, what the heck is this going to have so it won't be a cakewalk for all these? It's going to
have
OP
untested mechanics. And
about the Galactic Legends and the gas characters, you know, and then just basically put in there that you can't take in Galactic Legends or something.
Which would be really stupid, but yeah, they might not have a choice depending on what they have in mind. Because at least the ships component, you know, you can't, that's going to be a whole new thing at least. But yes, for the ground part, they're going to have to come up with something either unique or something really dumb.
They'll say like, hey, you can bring in, you know, rebels, select from these characters, and then you'll have to choose from those characters to take in, and it won't include a Galactic Legend character to choose from, kind of thing. They'll tell you who you could take in, and it will conveniently not be somebody that you'll want to take in. It will be conveniently characters you don't want to take in, and it will be tuned for characters they select. So that's how they'll end up doing it. And it will conveniently be characters you probably don't want. It'll be like Eth Koth, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll be like conveniently being tortured, and you'll have to like rescue him, and then you'll get to use him through a thing, and you know, you'll be like, oh, this is kind of cool. Wait, what? I gotta have him Relic 7.
Why did you have to use a Jedi example? Of all examples.
Like, I'm ready.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say, like, of all the examples with the Astra here, it's just...
No, don't worry. It won't happen.
All right. Next question here for Nev. Nev, question to you from Thane Kyrell. How long until we get our first Galactic Legend ship? As much as I had the original trilogy content, Vader's Super Star Destroyer Executor would fix that bill, what other iconic canon ships would you like to see as a Galactic Legend ship? Or maybe a regular ship like Red 5?
Well, I'd like to see Red 5. I don't think they'll bother with a Galactic Legend Ray or a Galactic Legend Kylo ship. I really, really don't. I just, you know, the characters themselves are OP enough.
Really quick, I think
ships for them.
What he's asking is if there's going to be a ship released in that Galactic Legend style, not necessarily a ship for the Galactic Legends.
No, they're not going to do. I don't think they'll do the characters. They'll do a Mason. They'll do a Mason, a Trench to do a separatist Galactic Republic type GL, and then Luke and Vader, or Luke and Palpatine as a Rebel Empire one. Those are the next two Galactic Legends that I see coming over the next couple of years. I don't think that they'll do a ship. I think that they put so little effort into ships that to do a Galactic Legends type ship thing would be too much effort for them.
Yeah, I would agree. And Warrior mentioned it earlier. It feels like ships is kind of a ignored game mode right now. So we'll see what they try to do with that. Okay, we are back to the top here for Clash. Clash question to you is from Bailrit Papichulo, and the question is, I have a Relic 5 nest with 150% tenacity with decent damage and speed. What is the highest gear level bugs do you feel that she can take out?
On her own, yeah, there's a few ways you want to think about it with Nest. If she's on her own, I really wouldn't do it. Even if they were gear 12, it's just, there's too much of a chance that Spy can one shot you in between your turns before you've built up enough bonus protection. And of course, as we know, there's stacking debuffs and buffs on both sides. So your Spy is actually clearing way more damage than you think. So I wouldn't do it solo. If you're gonna try with something like Kira and your Relic 5, I would say, you probably only got about a 60%, 70% chance of getting them all down and getting the damage ramped up fast enough before you eventually get one shot. Now, if you're going in with someone like Plo Koon, you give yourself a little bit more chance because you're able to get Spy out of stealth potentially each time you start your turn. But still, I would say you don't want those bugs to be super relicked because they can still do a lot of damage, and it's still not a great combination. In fact, the one thing you mentioned, Finn, is when I heard you say that has decent speed, I wouldn't want a really speedy Nest against bugs in general, because that means she's taking more turns, which means she's starting her turn more often, which is when she's most vulnerable. I would want her simply counterattacking and taking down damage, taking people down that way. Now, the one I do use pretty consistently, and I still get unlucky sometimes, is if I use my Gear 12 Treya that I don't need to use elsewhere with my Nest. I'm still pretty comfortable taking out highly relict bugs with Treya lead, and just fingers crossed I don't get that one unfortunate mistake where a Spy uses that special in between my turns. So I would say those are your options, right? If you're going with someone like Kira, they better mostly be Gear 11 or like really not great Gear 12. If you're going in with Plo, you might be able to get away with one or two of them relic. If you're going in with Treya, you can go in probably with most of them relic, but you want to make sure that your speed is much slower. You don't want to really fast. They really matter in any of those situations anyway. So that's it.
Okay. And
that helps.
Yeah. No, it does. And yeah, I wasn't sure. He didn't specify whether or not he meant solo or not, but I'm glad that you addressed that, because yeah, that's
sure
a dangerous one for sure. Okay, next question here for Warrior. Warrior, question to you from Darth Scion 1972. And his question is, with supposed events coming next week, what do you think they will be, and what would you like them to be? So are you aware of the Star Wars website post, by the way, Warrior?
Yeah, StarWars.com or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, they posted all the different content from Battlefront 2 and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they mentioned that there's like April 7th through the 15th or whatever, there's some in-game content for Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. Again, I know nothing about what's going on in the game. So yeah, what I think it is, I think coming back, like Malik is coming back around, and there's some other content that's
trying to reconnect, right? Okay. Sorry about that, guys. YouTube is constantly messing up the connection for some reason.
All the different outlets, and everybody wants to be able to say they're doing something, and so Capital Games kicked out that, hey, yeah, we're doing some things, and I think they're probably just talking more specifically about what's kind of already on the calendar, such as things like Malik and whatnot, and I'd like to see the community get something cool. There's a chance that they're going to have, a marquee event for something new. That would be really cool. I would like that. That's something I would like to see for the community. A freebie or two. It'd be really nice to see 2 back-to-back marquees for a couple of characters that aren't necessarily needed for anything right away. Just characters that are kind of, like a First Order Executioner style character, something that's really powerful, really good, but something that's kind of relatively easily farmable down the road, that you could get, not worry about, not stress, unlock. Pretty easy to use at 3 stars or 11 for now as a backup character in a team for, whatever team that you have, and have something to kind of expand a roster on, and then eventually when it becomes farmable in 3 months, you could farm it out and finish it off. For the free to players, you know what I mean? They haven't given anything for free to players in 8 months. I don't know. It's been a while since free to play has been given anything that's kind of really anything of real substance. So it'd be nice to see that. So it'd be nice. When's the last time? I mean, I guess there's been a marquee in December. There was marquees in December, so I guess it's been 4 months. But so yeah, it'd be nice to see a couple marquees come out then. But I know they're talking about some other things. There'll probably be packs. They consider that events crazy enough. So there'll probably be some packs as well.
Okay. And then next question is for Jedi Master Adastra. So, and I think this will be your last question, Adastra, here for the stream, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I'll give you one regular question and one fun question, then you can pimp your stuff. So question from Durgan. A serious question. Durgan question is, General Adastra Skywalker, what gear level would I need to reach in order to be as good as you? Also, would I need to have my Zeta and an ability mat unlocked? Would he need would I need to have my Zeta and ultimate ability unlocked to be as good as you?
But you don't have an ultimate or a Zeta ability.
Oh damn. That was yeah.
Ouch.
So you will never be as good as me, Durgan.
Oh damn.
You can continue to be an apprentice, and I will show you the Jedi ways.
All right. Serious question here is from Harry Tasker, and his question is, I have Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Should I go for Rey or just Horde for the next new thing?
You have progress with the Resistance and getting Rey, you might as well continue that path, and then you'll have both of them, because they're both just super, super strong. But if you are nowhere near it, like if you are, because these requirements are pretty hefty. So if you're not anywhere near it, I wouldn't say push and go for it, because again, it depends on the rest of your roster too. Like, and if you're, free to play versus how much you spend, is this would just consume you if you are starting with hardly anything to get to the Resistance, because it costs so much just to get one of these Galactic Legends. Like, so yeah, it's kind of hard to say without knowing your roster and where you're at. But if you're close, so like for me, that's how I'm approaching it. I'm fairly close to having my first order done. I have 5 characters left to gear 13, and then a little bit of the relic. So it'll take me a bit, but I'm like, I'm close enough that I can continue this path, because we won't have another Galactic Legend in. I mean, they're not gonna release one right now. It'll maybe be next year. I mean, I know it's CG, you never know, but there's no way they would release a Galactic Legend within just, after everything we're putting into these ones. They're kind of this new exclusive, the highest end character you can get right now. So I feel like it'd be until next year when they do another set. So you got time to think about it, and again, depends on where you're at of your progress, and if you can stomach gearing up some of these other characters. Like that Relic Rose still hurts. That will forever hurt.
Rose is good. Rose, I use her all the time. She's awesome.
Oh
my gosh, she wrecks first order.
so
Pre Galactic Legend Kylo. She wrecks first order. It's so much fun. I have to find a use for her.
But yeah, for me, I've literally ran out of materials. Like I am scraping the bottom of the barrel for the scavenger. You know, trying to get, because I'm working on the relics for the first order now. But it's been brutal because I never thought I'd hit it, but I hit it on the second piece, the bronze and wiring. I literally at one point had 0 materials to convert. I'm like, well, this is gonna be a while now to continue here, and it hasn't helped that the weekly shipments I would usually buy relic from there, and they haven't had it for like 5 weeks now. So that's been kind of brutal. It's halted that progress rate to complete her, so I haven't been able to farm like anything else. So it's yeah, it's definitely adjustments you have to make. So again, it just depends where you're at. Like, sorry, can't really. I guess you can't really go wrong. Yeah, it's a Galactic Legend, and they're both super powerful. You did right if you are a raid person, because Kylo's soloing the raid. You chose the correct one if you are about the raid. So, but yeah, I don't know if anyone else.
They're doing it again. God, YouTube is being such a pain right now. Okay.
It's just all these people that are
getting kind of frustrating. I'm trying to see if I can do anything to keep it, but I'll ask you in the meantime, Astra, if you want to go ahead and pimp your stuff. And to Matthew Child and Minato Namikaze, who had questions for Astra, I'll save those for next week for you. So, but go ahead and pimp your stuff, Astra, because I know you have to go.
Oh yes, Jedi Master Astra on YouTube. I uploaded some Galactic Legend Ray content. If you're working on the tiers, I have a guide for 3, 5, and 6. So, I mean, there's been different teams that can work for the later ones, but I uploaded one that I've been using. So that could help people. The tier 3 one has been a godsend for many people of saving time and effort. Then beyond that, I'm just uploading some arena vids. When I get a chance, I'll have another set coming up. I did another Jedi series, so I'm going to have another vid with her plus Jedi. And then I'm doing her plus the Resistance, kind of comparing what's working, what's not. And then, since whenever I get the ultimate, I'll then do a few on that, because there's different mod setups you can do once she has the ultimate. So I'll do some fun comparisons there. So, and then I'll try to get back to some more Jedi stuff, but she's kind of having all the fun, so I might as well keep uploading vids with her. And then otherwise, find me on the Jedi server or on RSG or wherever if you want to just ask or chat. I'm lurking usually. Otherwise, yeah. So, okay, have a good one, everyone. Stay safe.
See you, Astra.
Bye, Astra.
Take care.
She's lurking. She's learning from Durgan bad habits. That's what's happening here. Bad habits from Durgan. All right. Let's go ahead and get to our next question here. And we're up to good old Maurice in the sequence. And by the way, guys, we're a little over our halfway point, so this is a 2-hour stream. We're going to stop close to around noon Eastern time, so about another 55 minutes or so. But if you guys haven't already, please hit that thumbs up button. Show that you like the content. You still have some time to get in your questions, so make sure you include the word question in order to get your questions answered on the stream. And then after the stream is done, all the people here will pimp their stuff, but the links are down below, so please make sure that you visit all of their channels and subscribe if you already haven't. So let's go now to good old Maurice, and the question is from Solar Warden. And the question, how long does it take to get the tickets to unlock the Galactic Legends the free-to-play way, and how long from there to get the ultimate? Let's say you refresh 3 times a day. Good old Maurice?
Yeah, you were breaking up pretty bad. Yeah, like
I
think, yeah, that might have been on my end. No. I got it. How long does it take to get tickets, and how long does it take to unlock the ultimate?
Correct.
The ultimate, I don't know. Like I said earlier, I just unlocked Kylo, but there's some charts there. Of course, I can't find them on the fly here, but basically, I think the 6 energy nodes and the 10 energy nodes have the same drop rate. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I'm going off what I've read. I haven't really done much research myself, but so if you wanted to say farm 6 energy nodes, then you'll get it much quicker. But the problem is that if you're in a position to get Galactic Legends, there's really not much that you probably need on the 6 energy nodes. What I personally did is I farmed. I used my 50s and my 100s every day, and the last 2 days I've used my 200s as well. But I've just been farming the stun cuffs and the Chirotechs I needed for him out of the 10 energy nodes. And like I said, I unlocked him this morning. So what's that been, a week? When did Kylo and Rey,
Yeah, just
when were they
about a
officially
week now.
released? Yeah, I guess 6 to 8 days got me the unlock using 100 refreshes. Add an extra day because I did use, the 200s one day. So you could probably have him, if you're willing to use your 100s, probably 10 to 11 days for an unlock is probably fair, 10 to 12. Because really, there's no reason. That's what I said at the beginning. There's really no reason to rush the refreshes if you don't have the gear. You said you're free to play, so that means you're probably not going to be purchasing lots and lots of gear. So there's really no rush. Just collect the gear that you need. Get the stun guns. Unfortunately, you can't get the shock prod Chirotechs, but you can get the computers. You can get the stun guns. You get the stun cuffs. You can get all the stuff you need for his right side pieces. You get some of that. I believe the bullet pieces for his finisher are dark side as well. I'm not 100% on that. But you need a lot of stuff from the dark side nodes at 10 energy. So I would just farming that, take the slow route, and you'll get there without spending really any crystals. So the ultimate, I have no idea. I wish Astra would have caught that before because she's got it. But let's see here. I'm still on the next phase is 70 tickets, and that's just the one that gives me the title. I don't get anything from that one, so I'm really not in a huge hurry now. So, but I don't know if that was helpful or not. Sorry.
No, I think it was. I think, yeah, it's hard to figure. I'll let anyone else chime in if they know, because I haven't gotten to that point yet. But I think what you mentioned is the drop rates is basically what I've seen when Loki's done his, and everyone else I've seen kind of do their drop. So I don't know if anyone else has anything to chime in, but I think what good old Marie said is pretty much correct.
I mean, if you don't have the Chirotechs and the stun guns, you're not getting past gear 9.
Right.
So I mean, if you spend all your refreshes to get them unlocked, then you're like, oh, he's gear 9. I guarantee gear 9 Kylo will get one shot by gas over and over and over again. You're not gonna have any fun with him. So if you're gonna unlock him, you might as well take him to at least gear 11. Be ready to take him to at least gear 11. So whatever pace that puts you on would be my suggestion.
Yeah. Okay, next question here is for Nev. And Nev, question to you from Solar Warden. And his question is, what is wrong with Hux's Zeta? He doesn't seem to get dominance after the first turn. What else?
I wouldn't know. I don't have Hux. I haven't even activated him. I know he was a marquee character, but I care so little about the First Order. I really don't give a crap about them.
All right. Has anyone else
seen it? I really
don't
give a crap about them. So, Gom is probably the best person to ask this because he would have invested in First Order. So I will defer to Gom's better judgment. I apologize. Oh, Clash knows as well.
I mean, no, it's just that I think the problem with it is that he's in the game. So I think the best thing to do is probably uninstall it and just.
Yeah. There's that as well. Or they could, they could change his name to "I'm a little bitch."
Oh my God! Wow. Good on Maurice. Your thoughts?
It's like most unimportant character in episode 9. It's like I'm this, I'm dead.
And uninstalled the game. I lost my
lost focus. The question was about the bug. Question? Yeah, Hux's Zeta.
It was a Hux Zeta question.
What's wrong with Hux's Zeta and the dominance? And
oh God. Okay. What it's doing is, I think if you're in an all First Order team, you lose it and can't get it back, but it's working somehow. There's like a way that he constantly keeps it if you have non-First Order allies on your team. If I understand correctly, somebody messaged me about it. I haven't tested anything with it. I really have no idea if that's the case. But I've heard multiple people say Hux is bugged, but that's the definition I got. Let me If we go on to the next one, I'll find the actual post, and I'll have to dig through some messages here. I'll find it and just read it when I find it.
Okay, I'll give another question in the meantime to Nev. So Nev, question to you: do you think CG will allow matchups in GAC if one person has a Galactic Legend and the other does not?
Well, yeah, of course they will. It's completely down to an algorithm. There's nobody picking and choosing. If somebody's GP on the in their top 80 is equal to somebody else in the top 80, one has Kylo Ren GL and the other doesn't, then you losing, unless you can out strategize your opponent, which is the only way that you do it. Here's the thing, right? That people instantly assume if there's somebody that is unbeatable, if there's someone unbeatable in your opponent's roster, that you're going to lose. That is not the case. If your opponent has something that they know they have that you can't beat, sure, they might put it on defense, thinking, yeah, okay, that's a territory that's guaranteed to give me a hold. There's probably something in your roster that will hold them, so that's the strategy that you use. Is it going to happen? Yes. Just use good tactics and good strategy. Don't whine and whinge and moan about it. You're going to have something that they can't get past. Figure out what it is and put it in defense.
Okay. So that gets us back to the top of the order here with Clash. And question to you, Clash, from Gav P. And the question is, what's the best addition to a bounty hunter team, relics, Zeta, and or gear, to make it stronger on offense or defense?
Well, as you know, I'm mostly focused light side scoundrels, but I have been slowly gearing up my my bounty hunters over the last few months, and I would say that my hi, sorry, my daughter just came in. I would say my favorite so far that I've added to the team to help on both offense and defense has been Embo. Embo with his unique Zeta, making him uncrittable is actually really nice, and not only that, but having a dispel on basic is super useful, because people forget that anytime he's attacking with basic, he's going to be removing a taunt or removing some valuable buffs that you might have on the other side. If you're going out of the non-bounty hunter, other scoundrel faction, I think if you're putting on defense, L3 is a really strong fifth there, because she's going to get all the synergy with her kit and turn meter and dispels and things like that. Giving you another taunter is really important as well, because boss can only do so much on his own. But on offense, I do really still like Django versus Night Sisters. I've got some people in my group that have been showing me how to counter Night Sisters much more effectively, and so I think Django for offense, if you're using his leader against Night Sisters, throwing a Boba in there as well to avoid and get around that persistent taunt is nice of the zombie. So recapping, on defense, I think L3 is a good fifth. On offense, I think Django is a really good leader, and still on either one, I think Embo is probably one of my favorite additions to the team with relics and his unique Zeta.
Okay, so you got some dark side scoundrel stuff from Clash today.
I mean, the goal is to get all of them gear 13, and I'm only like 8 more scoundrels away from all scoundrels being gear 13. That's I think my last couple are going to be like Mob Enforcer and Gamguard, which should have gotten to gear 13 before. I know that he's pretty awesome, but yeah, we're getting there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next question for Warrior. Question from Solar Warden, and the question is, how fast is your best mod set, and how many days per month do you spend farming new mods, and how many days do you spend getting them to 6E? I guess more for when you were playing Warrior.
Yeah. I think my fastest set is either 163 or 168 on my Warrior account. My fastest set on my Scissorman account was 137. So huge discrepancy between a 1-year account and a 4-year account. So just huge discrepancy, like 30 speed difference. And on both accounts, I treated mods the same because mods are everything in the game. It's all or nothing. Mods make the difference. You could have mods are actually better than gear. You could have a gear 8 character with superior mods that is better than a gear 10 character. Fact. So mods are really everything in the game. You really need to focus on mods. Now, mods are kind of a balancing act. You've got to have you've got to constantly be rolling the mods you have to see what you have, to see what your inventory consists of, to see kind of what your pool of mods are, and then slowly, continually progressing those mods to make them better. But you also have to be infusing that pool of mods with new fresh blood, so to speak, good mod, fresh new mods. So you need to be buying mods, farming for mods, and getting them from events. And then you need to be kind of exposing those mods. So it's kind of a 3-step process. 1 is getting new mods, 2 is exposing existing mods, and 3 is developing those existing mods. The developing existing mods can happen over time. That's just rolling them, taking some time once a week to just kind of expose them, spend some credits to expose, go from 3 to 6 to 9 to 12 to kind of see how one rolls. If you see one that doesn't roll very well, then you can sell it. And they just updated that this last month, where now you can, as you start to get one that rolls crappy, you can just hit sell right then and there. That's amazing. I wish I would have had that, because as your roll, sell, that's amazing. I didn't have that. I'd have to roll a dozen of them and then go back and collect them all and then sell them all at once or whatever. So it's a little more convenient. But you've got to see kind of what you have in existing inventory, and then you've got to be infusing your mods. Speed still is king when it comes to things such as arena, because at the end of the day, timing is important, and a lot of times you're gonna go to a mirror match. And when it comes to mirror matches, almost always mirror matches, it's whoever goes first. This is like Darth Revan's, whichever Bastila or Darth Revan goes first kind of thing. Same thing with JTRs. There's just so many teams where the one who goes first, or the team that has the fastest mods, goes first. Plus, there's many speed characters. We're talking First Order Officer or Poplu, or all these characters that, though their team hinges off of them having a specific speed character, where that character goes first and starts a turn meter train, and that doesn't happen until that character goes. And so, your team is going to help you in Grand Arena, but only if you get to go first and start a turn meter train. And so you've got a key character that needs to be fast. You need like 120 plus speed on that character. So you got to build a nice speed set. Just one for that team, but you got to build a nice speed set. So you're going to need to farm speed mods and look for speed secondary. When you farm for speed mods, really it's speed mods with speed secondary. That's really all you're looking for. If you can get offense secondaries, then great. Things like that, look for other good secondary stats, then great. But other mods you'll farm as well, like crit chance, crit damage, some health mods, things like that. But you'll probably get health and some other ones from events. So you probably need to do that less. You'll need to farm speed mods with speed secondaries. I did that a lot for the first 6 months, because I needed to get up to speed with getting speed sets, and for arena and or just in general, because when you're starting off, you don't have a whole lot. And so getting a speed set over 130, that's just how it works. You got to get a speed set with speed secondary. It's going to consume every day. I mean, you're going to spend every day working on mods for the rest of your life. So if you don't like mods, you don't 2 10 speeds that are now blue. Well, those 2 that popped to 10 blue, those now are in blue and at 10. So now that's the next level. The rest of the green ones I can ignore. And then the next time I would play with, mods, I would go into blue and I would find all of my 10 speed blues, and I would roll all of my 10 speed blue. Of the 20 of my 10 speed blues that I had, maybe 4 of them would roll. And I'd get like 3 or 4 15 speeds or 13 speeds. And then of those 3 or 4 13 to 15 speeds, I would take those, and sometimes none of those would pop, sometimes one would pop. And so that's kind of, it's like a pyramid, you know, you've got to continually work over and over and over, and you get 1 or 2, but you got to work your existing inventory to slowly get 1 or 2 good out of it. And it's not just speed, you got to work other stats as well. If you're specifically trying to get a specific stat for a specific character, for example, if your guild is saying they want you to have a character over 120% tenacity, and so you're building a character with a tenacity set, with tenacity primaries, with tenacity secondaries, blah blah blah, you may be using the filter for tenacity with tenacity, and then you find some of your highest tenacity mods, you're not really using them, so you're like, okay, I'm going to roll them and see how they roll up, and then start producing a few really high tenacity sets, just like you would with speed, but focus on tenacity and be okay with it not having a ton of speed or whatever, because maybe it's L3 and you don't need a ton of speed, but you want a ton of tenacity. And so you're actually looking at that tenacity the way you would speed. So anyway, but you're going to focus on it every day and just rotate back and forth between getting fresh mods and spending time rolling mods.
Okay. And sorry about that little interruption in there, guys. I think you caught everything Warrior said. Sorry, Warrior. We cut out for 2 seconds, but I think they got everything that you mentioned. That was actually my connection this time that disconnected. It wasn't YouTube. So, God, I hate this new Zoom. I'm running Zoom on 2 computers, and it's just eating up everything right now, which is not pleasant. But yeah. Nev, you want to talk about the new Zoom? No, just kidding.
The new Zoom sucks. I mean, it's horrible. It's really, really goddamn horrible. It is an absolute nightmare on OBS.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It's going to screw up so many people. Mm-hmm. Really, really is.
It is.
Are you back, Fendi?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right. I found the Hux thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I misspoke. It's dominance.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in an all first order team, he'll start it, but once he loses it, he cannot get it back. And I just tested it. The leadership clearly reads that all first order allies are first, or all allies are first order. You get dominance, but he is getting it on the second turn on my Hux team with only 2 first order. So he once he loses it, he can't get it back, and he's getting it when he's not supposed to. It's like I just randomly tried to battle with Hux and Kylo, and then Malik, Basla, DR, and he got dominance on the second turn. So it's all sorts of jacked up. So keep that in mind if you're considering the Hux Zeta or the Hux lead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There you go. So that was for Solar Warden's question about the Hux Zeta and the dominance. So good old Maurice, next question to you from Solar Warden is, what's the best squad to put Watt in besides First Order and Separatist squads?
Some of Clash's squads. Those are really good counters to the gas teams. Whether you use Stormtrooper Han, you can use Bosk Lead, Han, Chewie, Watt, and the Vandor Chewbacca. Very, very good counter to General Skywalker, and a very, very high, especially with the Bosk Lead, very, very high banner gas counter. I was getting 58, 59 with that in the last Grand Arena. So that's very, very helpful. I think Watt goes really well with, you said besides non-separatist and what else?
First order. First order. Yep.
Oh God, he goes everywhere. I mean, you could literally put him anywhere. I like him. I like him paired. I guess whatever tanks you have, I like to pair him kind of with the tank first, like whether it be Stormtrooper Han. I have a Relic 7 Zeta Stormtrooper Han. I realize that's not feasible for most, but he's very good with, let's say that you love ships. He's very, very good with Scarifable Pathfinder, like a CLS lead, Scarifable Pathfinder combo with Watt, because Scarifable Pathfinder will shed the debuffs, and he counters under CLS, and every time he uses his basic attack, whether it's his turn or not, he's going to fuel 15% turn meter to the whole team, regardless of their faction tag. So I think if you have a developed Scarifable Pathfinder, Watt's very, very good with him under CLS. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I've seen him. I mean, people are using him in their Darth Revan squads to counter gas. I mean, any team that's. I mean, he's awesome. I mean, if we could probably go around the horn of this when everyone's got their own, way they're using him. He's arguably one of the very, if not, I guess you could make a case he's probably the best character in the game outside of these Galactic Legends.
For a plug and play, yeah.
I'll be unlocking him at the end of this next Geo TV.
Nice.
So I'm kind of excited to get hold of
he's
it.
awesome.
And just you saying he gets around instantly makes me think, right? I Get Around by the Beach Boys has got to be his entrance music in Urza's Hall from now on. Somebody needs to do that video. I Get Around by the Beach Boys. Urza will play it. He doesn't care about the replay ability of his videos. He'll play it.
No, he really is, I think, in my opinion, one of the top 2 plug and play characters, because the other one that I would think of similar to him is Kenobi, where you can just stick him on any team and he works as a tank. He's not a tank, he just provides so many abilities. You just stick him on a team and he works. And it's crazy how awesome he is. And you don't even need him 7-star. I have him 5-star and he's awesome. You just need to mod him for speed and you're good. So I think you'll have fun with him, Nev, when you unlock him.
Well, I mean, I don't have that much to put in with. So every time somebody asks that question, what faction is he best on? I'm like, I don't really have a faction that I'm going to be able to put him with. I mean, I've got a Gear 11 5-star Grievous that I could put him with, but no other Separatists. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what I could put. I could put it with my Akbar Chewie hand. See what happens there.
I mean,
put him with the Phoenix.
Phoenix?
Put him with my Phoenix.
Yeah, see how that goes.
Yeah, no, that would work because my Sabine Red is like trash. Everybody else is 7 stars. Sabine's nowhere near it, so I could take Sabine out and put what in and see what happens. I'll put it on defense for the next GAC. I'll let you know, Clash.
All right, let me know.
All right. Next question for Nev, and question from Nathan H. What is your favorite Galactic Republic fleet comp?
But I only really use Galactic Republic fleet in defense on GAC. That's it. I mean, I don't really use them on
Negotiator,
TW,
right? Or Endurance.
With the Negotiator, and I just start tanky, Umbarum, Clone Sergeant, and then Plo Koon.
You put Clone Sergeant in the starting lineup?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's on my main account. It's got a 50-50 chance. It depends what my opponent keeps for offense. But I tend to go tanky like that. I tend to go for longevity because it's not what normally goes. It's not what people who don't check out your roster look at that and think, they look at that starting lineup and they think, oh, right, okay, Ahsoka and Anakin are coming in, they're coming in as reinforcements. And I've only got Ahsoka coming in as a reinforcement. I don't have Anakin. It's the only Galactic Republic ship that I do not have. Every other Galactic Republic crew and ship is 7 stars. And the ships are maxed out, but I don't have Anakin for some reason. So people kind of make that mistake. They think, oh crap, so yeah 50-50. So because I don't have the Anakin, I have to kind of trick my opponent into thinking that I've got it as a reinforcement and hope that they don't check my roster, because if they check that, I can tell the people that check my roster and the people that don't, because if they haven't checked my roster, it survives, and if it doesn't survive, they check my roster because they know what to attack me with.
Okay. We are back up to the top to Clash. And Clash, question to you. Another ship question here from Solar Warden. Actually, we have a question directly for you. Let me give you that one instead. Zoloff Zebra has a question for you, Clash. He says, you always pimp Kira lead for Nest. What are your views on a Savage lead with Malik and Nest in 3v3?
That'd be really tanky. It'd be a really thick group to get through. I think I did see people use Savage and Malik and maybe another Sith in threes last time, and that, you know, you can't go in there with something thinking you're gonna. In my opinion, if you're going in there, you've got to bring some serious firepower, right? Because that extra amount of defense is pretty staggering on Malik in threes. Nest, you know, her damage mitigation isn't as like directly correlated to her defense. It's obviously the bonus protection she's getting, but at the same time, you know, more defense equals more effective hit points means that she's going to be harder to take down in general. So yeah, I think, you know, her under Kira, the reason I like her under Kira is because obviously she gains the offense and the protection regeneration and, you know, all the other good things that come with her lead. But any group that you put her with that has a really beefy tank in the front that gives everyone defense, like Clone Wars Chewie or Stormtrooper Han or Savage or CLS, or no, CLS is just Rebels. But yeah, I think anything that adds to her health, defense, damage mitigation in general is really it makes her really tough. And if she's slow, you risk timing out. There's a lot of people that have gone in and wasted their full JTR teams because they didn't realize just how much TMR they were doing and how slow the Nest already was. So I think if you're putting Nest on defense, slow is usually the best way to go because it risks timeout, or blazing fast and on a team that increases speed even more and up her potency on something like a Django lead, because then she's flying and she's doing all the horrible things that can disrupt your turn meter with her AoE and stun and everything else. So Savage is good, but I would make sure she's really slow and tons of health on her.
Okay, there you go. Next question is for Warrior. Warrior, I'm going to give you two questions because these are a little bit of shorter questions here. So the first one, What Else 73, asks, what GP level is a high-end guild at these days? So what would be the GP cutoff, do you think?
I kind of lost you. Did everybody else lose
Yeah,
you?
you lost me. I saw my thing.
Yeah,
so let
you got the boo-boo internet today.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was going to say, I'm asking you two questions here because they're a little bit of shorter questions. So the first one from What Else 73, what GP level is a high-end guild considered at these days?
Well, that's an interesting question. I was just talking to a friend of mine this week, of all irony. Hadn't seen him in a couple of months because he's a doctor. So he's well off, and he has a pretty high GP and everything, but he's over 5 million. And he was asking me that question, and he was like, you know, the high-end guilds, you know, is that even good enough or whatever? Of all irony, it actually is. And this is why. This is the fatal flaw of the game. I've talked about this before, and I'm not trying to denigrate the game. So you got to hear this whole thought process out. But I've said mods have ruined the game, sadly. Old accounts and new accounts. There's two different worlds, right? Old accounts are like my Warrior account. I have decent mods, not awesome, but decent, because I was there before mods 2.0. I was there in the original mods, Modgate, everything, and I farm mods, not a ton, but I farm mods like a normal human being when mods were amazing, when you could find a green mod and guaranteed get your triple roll out of it, and 5 was a 5 roll. That's not the case anymore. My new account, my Scissorman account, I could do mods for the next 3 years and never have mods the way that my Warrior account has. That's a sad reality of the way the mods is now in the game. What that means is that somebody can come into the game and spend as much as they want and level up as many characters as they want, and they can have every aspect of the game mastered physically. They can be taught anything. They can join any guild, and they can have any and every part of the game perfect, except for one thing. That's mods. And they can't buy it. They can't buy it. They can't earn it. They can't get it. They can't whatever. And every veteran high-end guild, we're talking the highest end Ma, the highest end, you know, Team Instinct or whatever, like in any of the like top 10 guilds, they're going to look at your mod depth. We're not talking about anything else. Mod depth is all that matters, actually, more than GP. And the reason is they'd rather take your mod depth over character depth right now. That actually matters more to them, because what's happening is they're seeing on recruitment, somebody has gas, but they have 85 speed on gas because they're a new player. Someone who's been playing for 14 months has purchased everything, and there's that critical error. So the veteran teams now are realizing mod depth is actually all that matters. So they're changing their strategy on actually who they're bringing in, and GP is becoming far less important. Mod depth is becoming all that matters, and their requirements on characters are becoming loosened because they know they can kind of fill in the gaps and stuff. And territory wars is also becoming slightly less important. It's still important, but they know they can say, all right, fine. If you can't provide a gas on offense or defense, we'll figure that out. We can put you in other areas. We can have you do this or that. We can have you focus. As long as you're focused on X, Y, or Z, you've got the mods. We just need you to focus.
Warrior, really quick. You went distant again.
Am I currently that way?
Yes.
Interesting.
It went into like tin can mode in the middle of that.
Hold on. Let me come back. Hold on a second.
Okay. And again, thank you so much to all of you guys still hanging around. I know there's some buffering issues. There was one time that it was on my end, and then the rest of the time was we're having connection issues with YouTube. It's like constantly dropping the connection. I changed some settings here in the last little buffering thing, so hopefully it's going to be stable for the rest of the stream here.
Yeah.
So
is that better?
Yes, you are good now, Warrior.
Okay. Cool. That's weird. So anyway, to answer the question, really, GP doesn't matter at all. If you're over 4.5 million GP, what really matters is if you're over 4.5 million GP, for one. Two, if you can really convincingly explain that you are focused on gas, the GLs eventually, you know, that you are like targeting them and you are going to eventually work on those characters. And then three, that you do in fact have the mod depth from the last 3.5 years, and that you're pre 2.0 mods. That's key. Pre 2.0 mods. You can be in any of the veteran guilds for sure, because you've got the key to be good. But if you're not pre 2.0 mods, if you're not over 4.5, and if you're not focused on the GLs and getting gas, they don't want you. But if you've got a 5.5 million GP roster and you've got everything, but you don't have mod depth, they may take you initially. I guarantee you're going to get the boot within 3 months because of mod depth, because they're going to slowly start to see when they start pulling things and looking at things, and they're going to see you at the bottom every single time when they're matching you, because they match who you're supposed to fight. They'll say, okay, you fight this person, you fight this person, and they always do top to bottom. So like their best fights the opponent's best, their worst fights the opponent's worst. They like, tag team, and they'll see you're always at the bottom, and it doesn't matter what your GP is. They're going to notice you always have the worst mods, and you're not even going to be comparable to another top 50 team. You know what I mean? You're going to be below the below, and they're going to say, you can't even compete with the other teams. We're going to have to cut you. And so you're not even going to be competitive. So mods are the critical failure in the game. They've got to fix it, but they can't. So that's the problem. So anyone that's out there that's spending all this money to catch up, you can't. There is no way to catch up. Unfortunately, mods is the only thing, which is why I mentioned earlier, you have to do mods every single day. It's the only thing you can do to even sort of make yourself viable in this game.
Okay, there you go. Let's see. That was for Warrior. Next question is for good old Maurice. Good old Maurice, question to you from Darsion 1972 says, are you making any videos of how Kylo does in phase 3 and 4 of the GOTB once you get him geared?
Yeah, I record some stuff. I don't know. Phase 4, perhaps we could do like a formal video, but I'll record. Yeah, I'll record them. I'll post them on RSG and on Operation Metaverse. Yeah, that'd be fine. I didn't even think about TB. Yeah, I was just kind of panicked. I mean, I was just glad to get them done before Grand Arena. Yeah, that should be fun. My first order team already does quite well without it. Phase 4 is a little dicey. I'm not ballsy enough to take them in there yet, but I got 4-4 last GOTB. In Phase 3, I think it was with Kylo Hux, Sith Trooper, what's his name, Executioner, and I believe I used Stormtrooper. So, I mean, if you guys don't have gas yet, but you've already started developing these characters, or Kylo, I use Kylo, excuse me. If you're already dumping the relics on these characters, get ready. Don't be scared to use them in P3. P4, you might want to ask one of your guild officers. If nothing else, it allows you, the problem every guild probably has is nobody wants to cough up their Basilas, their Maliks, their Darth Revans, their Treyas, so if you get your first order team rock and rolling, you're helpful to the guild. You can give them up platoons. But sorry, I got derailed there. Yes, I'll make some videos, man. Just I'll post them. I'll give them to Finn when I'm done, and I'll post them on the Operation Metaverse as well.
All right. And since Ramon isn't here, I'll give you the other question. You're covering for Ramon right now, good old Maurice. Solar Warden asks, who is better at relics, Stick Ray or Fox?
Well. Let me think. The Eternal Twins. Actually, you guys see the new episode of the Clone Wars? It was fantastic.
Oh my god.
I don't even remember the real question. Stick Ray or Fox? Fox. Yeah. They're very similar. They're very similar actually, in what they do. I think it pains me to say this, but I think Stick Ray, like just a individual character basis, nothing to do with any other team. I think Stick Ray is probably the better R7 for PvP, and Fox is by far the better Relic 7 for PvE. Just but 1v1 sort of scenario. Like, I think Fox offers a lot more to his team than Stick Ray does, but both are very, very good. Two of the highest just base physical damage characters in the game once you relic them up in terms of the damage they dish out. So it's very, very good.
Okay. And next question we have is for Nev. Nev, question to you from Solar Warden is, when I unlock Grievous's ship, do I keep going and 7-star it, or do I hoard the Get 2 for something new that may come into the store?
It depends. It depends what you want to do with your malevolence. I mean, I've got 5-star. 5-star with my geos is getting me #1 every single day now. I had to take my spy up to gear 13 and relic him, but I'm getting #1 in Fleet Arena. In order to maintain that, I believe I need to take malevolence to 6 and then to 7, because at some point the people behind me that have all of the geos will get malevolence, but they will be behind me from a malevolence point of view. So if you just stop at 5 and then use your GET2 on something else, it gives your opponents in your arena shard the opportunity to catch you up. So if just from a staying ahead point of view, because it literally takes months and months and months of GOTBs to get your to get the malevolence up, depending on how much currency you get, it still takes months and months and months and months. If you want that head start over your opponents, get your malevolence to 5 stars, keep going to 6, keep going to 7. You will stay ahead of your competitors in your Fleet Arena shard for, just keep, for as long as possible. So I would strongly advise, only if you're in the top 5, only if you're getting top spots in your Fleet Arena, to keep going on malevolence. If you're not getting it, and there are already people with malevolence ahead of you, then yeah, sure, go for something else. Malevolence at 5 stars is good with geos. You've got an extra squad for territory wars. and you've got an extra squad for GAC, and that's the way you'd look at it. It's only if you're going to be competitive in your squad arena shot.
Okay, and I think that brings us to the end of the serious questions. So we have some fun questions lined up here as we are getting close to wrapping up. I'll let the panel know because I'm not sure if all of you guys are aware, but so we have set up where if people donate like bits and stuff on Twitch and in our stream elements, that there's sound clips that go on and just interrupt the stream. I had those paused during this so we could get through the serious questions, but I have a bunch of them queued up right now that are about to unleash on the stream. So if you guys want to listen to the stream and listen to the nonsense, and majority of them are probably going to be Grande just being a fool, I'm going to open up all of the alerts and we'll start going through the fun questions. So I'm about to regret pushing this button, but here we go. Okay. And of course, we start out with the Minecraft sheep. That's always
house business.
Oh god, and then Grande, of course. These are worse when they're back to back.
It's just a tip, and I gotta carry this thing around for 9 months.
Oh no!
Damn it, Grande. Just freaking. Okay, let me go to the.
I only had one baby. He said the next time it'd be just a tip, and he lied. we ended up with it. We ended up with 2 babies.
All right, then we had that. God, how many more of these are there?
This is good.
Oh my god. Okay, let's go to the first question. I'll open it up to anyone. Jeremy Lennon says, question, any chance the new raid will have cheesy solutions like Stormtrooper Han, Acolyte, etc.? Do any of you guys think that a solution will include those characters? Always?
Always.
Always. They break their own stuff all the time accidentally because they don't think like us.
Yeah. So
I wasn't listening to the question because I was listening to the sound bites.
Yeah, there's more coming. EXO, thank you. God. Yeah, the question was just whether or not you think like an odd character like Stormtrooper Han or Acolyte is actually going to be needed for like one of the phases of the new raid. And yeah, I think
there's some obscure character nobody has, and everybody will panic, gear them up, and then they'll fix it.
Yep. Next question, Dr. Feelgood. Not a question, but I wanted to take this time to thank everyone of our panel and the RSG community. A simple, heartfelt thank you. So I do want to thank you guys also.
This is bad.
Oh my god, Grim. These alerts are awful. I do want to take the opportunity to thank all of the panels. If you guys don't know, everyone on the panel just takes time out of their regular day to come here and answer questions for you guys. Things like this is actually what makes this Galaxy of Heroes community so awesome. And I don't want to speak for you, Warrior, but you can tell me if I'm wrong here. It is the community and things like this that even though Warrior doesn't play anymore, still kind of keeps him engaged in the games because the community is just so awesome. Is that a fair statement, Warrior?
Hands down, this is the best community in all of gaming that I've ever been a part of.
Yeah. So, I know you were thanking us, Dr. Feelgood, but I want to thank everyone in the community as well, because without you guys being here and asking questions and just making the community so awesome, none of this would even be possible. So thank you to all of you guys. Jeremy Lennon question, how's business? And EXO just... business is fine. God damn it. If you guys don't know the story, by the way, Grande freaking saw a homeless person on the streets during all this coronavirus stuff and asked him how's business because he considers a homeless person an entrepreneur for panhandling. This was the conversation we had.
And then he kissed him on the lips and got coronavirus.
No, actually, he wanted to hear the ching-ching in his cup, so instead of putting actual change, he put baseball tokens for a batting cage that is not open right now during the coronavirus. I wish I was joking, but that is legitimately the story that Grande told. That he wanted to make sure he heard the ching-ching and all he had was baseball tokens, so he put baseball tokens in the poor homeless guy's cup.
If I was that homeless guy, I would have got up and punched him right in the mouth.
That was our reaction as well. It's like, I wonder how pissed off he must have been when he heard it at the end and like looks at his cups like, baseball tokens, the hell? Like, what the hell is all this?
Yeah.
Ignore the man, say no, do whatever. I don't know. You don't need to, I don't know.
We just get talking about how great this community is, and then
Grande.
Then
Yeah. Everyone but Grande. You guys are
Jeez.
God, there were so many awful conversations. Just, God. Okay, Thane Kyrell, question for you, Gom. Have you seen the new SWGOH cinematics yet? And if so, what did you think?
Huh?
The new Star Wars: The Old Republic cinematics. Have you seen them yet? Have you gone back?
He messaged me the old ones. I watched those. I haven't seen anything new. No.
No, but you watched the old ones. What did you think of the old ones?
Oh, they were cool. Yeah, it was actually cool. I actually got to see a lot of times Ranger and Ramon on our Sunday streams. They get into these loregasms, and I don't really know what they're talking about. And it was actually very, very helpful. Thane Kyrell as well is asking questions to those two that I usually don't know what the hell he's talking about. So yeah, thanks for sending those, man. Those were good. And now I don't have to play the game. So
there you go.
Because you know what's coming out on Tuesday? The remake of Final Fantasy VII. I think it's coming out next week, so I'll be spending my time playing that. I'm pretty pumped about that. So,
next question, Yuta. Question for Gom. What is your mug of the day?
I don't know. I think this one you guys have seen before. It's the panda.
Classic panda.
This one's good for streaming because it's got a little lip on it, so I can't accidentally just dribble all down my face when I'm trying to talk. It's good for streaming.
Revenator question. I haven't seen Ranger on stream since the Eternal Twins lore video. Can he no longer face the skewers with so many mentions of the Eternal Twins? No, he's actually unfortunately been really busy with doing like housework and actually like landscaping and digging and stuff. So Ranger has been completely preoccupied with that, and so that's why you unfortunately have to deal with me hosting streams. Bailrit Papi Chulo, question from Lunary for Finn. Did you know that Bale has been cheating on RSG with his YouTube love? If it's with anyone else in the panel here, please feel free. I want you guys to visit everyone in the panel, everyone that's linked below. All of that is perfectly fine. If it's not,
you will greatly regret your decision, Bailrit. Greatly regret it.
Wow.
What? You know, sometimes you have to lay down the law. That's all I gotta say. Next question from Bailrit for Gom. Question: are you playing Disney Sorcerer Arena? I'm not either. So
I actually had a comment in the Hotties chat yesterday. I just feel like let's just say, for instance, Clash and I are discussing the game, and Clash wants to tell me how badass his 7-star Ariel is, and then I have to tell another grown man that my 7-star Pocahontas is better. I don't know if that's going to go over well with me. So, I don't know. I feel silly. It looks cool. The game looks cool. I don't know. I don't know if that was for me.
I think I would lean towards the Lego one more. If I was going to play between one of those two, I would go with the Lego one.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
The Lego one's looking pretty cool. I mean, the Lego one is literally a skin of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. It's Legos. It looks really cool, and it looks like it's from Star Wars 4 years ago. So it's like only 60 characters, just like when Star Wars Galaxy Heroes launched, it only had like 62 characters or whatever. So it looks like it's kind of a skin of the game. And if you were going to start all over, that's kind of the time to start, is when it's in its infancy, right? So I've been really tempted to like jump into that Lego game. The only thing is this, like, Legos are cool, right? Whatever, I grew up in Legos, so that's kind of cool. The only thing is, like, do I want to start another mobile game? That's my drag right now, is do I really want to start something that I'm going to have to play every single day? I don't know.
I just don't want to play another one like Galaxy of Heroes. I'm playing 2 other mobile games, and they're like different in their type. I don't think I can play another one like Galaxy of Heroes. It would just...
Well, we've seen it time and time again. The Dragon Champions and even the DC had SWGOH one a few years ago. You know, I think Marvel Strike Force is kind of the one that kind of lasted, but everyone jumps over there, tries them, and then sure enough, 2-3 weeks later, there's either like a paywall, it just gets boring, whatever the case is. They usually either come back to Star Wars or just hang that game up as well. So
I think the key to both of them, though, with the Marvel Strike Force and the Star Wars, right, is a recognizable IP that I think keeps people playing. I think that might be like the key to all of this. So Lego and Disney have a chance. Might be the issue with like the Dragon Champions being a little bit more generic, right? That the there's not a strong IP keeping players playing. So
I will say the Disney game is kind of cool in regards to that you can play it with your children. I think that that could be inviting to some people, because everyone. I mean, both the child and the parent know all the characters. So I mean, that would be maybe something that's appealing.
Does Disney have scoundrels in it?
I don't know if Peter Pan is considered a scoundrel, but he would probably be the.
Because I picked up Lego because I could play pirates, and they're kind of scoundrelly. So I'm at like level 30 on that right now with my pirate crew. But I don't know if Disney has scoundrels. So
we'll have
Peter
to look
Pan
at the classification of Peter Pan.
Yeah,
I missed the fun questions.
Oh, we're still in there.
You're playing the Lego one, Clash?
Yeah. I just got to level 30 yesterday.
How are you enjoying that game?
I like it. I think it's fun. The point that Finn made about the recognizable IP being something that kind of carries through. That's the only thing that it doesn't necessarily have is like I'm not familiar with some of these little Lego heroes. I'm definitely know all the Ninjago ones from watching that with my son, but Chicken Suit Man, I don't remember when that guy came. The hiker guy. But what I do like is yes, it's like a SWGOH in its gameplay, but there are some differences. Like your leader is actually like the set that you carry them with. So you're on either like a pirate ship or you're on like a space cruiser, and that's what gives you your team bonuses. They're not tied to a specific person. And certain characters already have ultimates. Like you just have to get them up to a certain gear level, and they do fun and cool things. And it's pretty accessible too. It's not like there's a whole bunch of paywall characters yet. You can climb and have pretty much what everyone else has, but it's so far it's fun. It's not a real time suck. You go in, you do a couple things, and enjoy it. It's actually graphically. My phone isn't old; it's a iPhone 10, but it heats it up. It's got some. It gets hot in my hands if I play it for too long because it's actually got some pretty cool graphics in it. But I don't know. I like it. I think it's fun.
Chad is trying to help you here, Clash. They're saying Captain Hook is in the game, Jack Sparrow's in the game, Aladdin is a thief, and they're trying to tell you there are pirates in that Disney game.
All right, I'll give it a look then.
All right, we have just a few more before we start wrapping it up. Question to you, Warrior, from Jeremy Lennon, said, if CG is going to release a new game, what would that game have to have for you to be playing it?
Yikes. I don't know if I would play anything that Capital Games makes, honestly. Honestly, that the botching of of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, I don't know if I trust that dev team. I've seen their previous titles, and it is an absolute mess. The past titles, and they've gotten better with time. And Star Wars is like their pinnacle, and it's a mess. And that's like the best they've done. So, whatever it is would be better probably because they're learning. So it'd probably have better coding. And they'd probably learn from their mistakes, but they probably would want to get away from EA, is my guess. But they might not be able to just because they would need funding. And I don't know if they've tied themselves to EA on this second project or not. So I don't know. I guess it would depend on who's backing the funding on this second project or not. But the botching of the programming, the coding is so poor on Star Wars. That's one of the things that people like, why'd you quit? Oh, did you spend too much money, or did you do this, or is it just not fun anymore, or is it just a time suck? Like, there's a lot of reasons, but seriously, every time there's an announcement, go to the bottom of the announcement. There's 40 things that are broken that they fixed. Every announcement, there's 40 things they fixed. There's also a list of over 290 things they didn't fix that's still in the queue to be fixed. And then another 100 things they haven't even put on the list of things that need to be fixed. So it's not that, it's one of the many things that needs to be addressed is that there's broken stuff in the game. And the coding is so poor. And I just don't know if I would trust Capital Games with another game. Like, You know what I mean? It's like EA, when somebody hears that EA's made another freaking Xbox game, you get nervous. Like, oh crap, they're the ones building this next platform. They're this next game for Xbox. It's like, oh, I don't know. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason why people feel that way, because you start to realize that time after time something comes out and it's not to the quality. To the converse, a game comes out by Bethesda Studios, and I'll buy it without ever even trying it or even seeing a commercial on it. I'm like, oh, Bethesda Studios, Fallout series or Skyrim series, whatever. Like, sight unseen, I can trust that studio. Why? Because since Morrowind, everything that has come out every 4 years or whatever from that studio has been solid, and has really been a solid piece of work. So it's just one of those things where I don't know what they could come out with that I would trust at this point. So, and if you don't know what Capital Games has done in the past, look at Capital Games' previous works to see some of their failed runs at mobile games. And
the last one was like a dragon game, right? It was some kind of
that's still around too, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Side note, not all of the game changers. Well, almost all the game changer. Almost all the game changers lost their test accounts, but not all the test accounts got shut down.
They shut down the other section of them that you're talking about, Warrior, 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So no, they're
I'll tell you one thing. The problem with those test accounts, like, we're supposed to be in a limited server, right? And in my Grand Arena matchups, I would fight consistently the same 8 people over and over and over again, right? So I'm assuming those other 7 people, they weren't game changers. They weren't people that I know, but I'm assuming those guys have test accounts as well. But those, every once in a while, you'd see some of those guys on Fighting Grand Arena, they're in real guilds. They're in legitimate guilds. I don't know if those are test accounts. I don't know how they would get matched up with me in Grand Arena otherwise. It's the same 7 people every single time, over and over and over again. Like, our entire Grand Arena bracket, like, if you got first place, you get like first place. The lowest you get is like 23rd, I think. So that could have something to do with it as well. I don't know for sure. I have no evidence of that, but I just know the people I play are in guilds. So if you guys are in, if you see guildmates of yours just mysteriously disappear, that could be the case. So, yeah.
All right. 2 more fun questions here really quick. Stings, I got a 27 speed mod this morning. Do you think my Bastila Sean Fallen can finally outspeed Galactic, Legend, Ray, and Kylo? No, you need to get a 30 and then slice it up to 50 speed. Then you have a chance. So sad. Darsai 1972 question for the panel. So we'll go around the corn on this one. Better show to stream in the quarantine: the US, The Office version, The Office, the US version, or Parks and Recreation. Hint: there's only one right answer. So
Parks
let's start.
And Recreation.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Clash.
I'm not really familiar with Parks and Rec, so I'd have to say The Office.
Okay. Warrior, Office, or Parks and Rec?
Parks and Rec season 2 Beyond, and The Office season 7 before.
I'm actually kind of with Warrior, but not on the Parks and Recs. I would be Office like season 7 or 8 before. That's where I would be too.
Yeah, you got to be before season 7 on The Office, and then Parks and Rec season 1 sucks. After season 1, the Parks and Rec is awesome.
Okay, and those were it for our fun questions.
Starting with Matt Smith.
All right, let's go around here. I think Warrior, you're probably getting ready to stop here. So Warrior, if you want to pimp your stuff.
Yeah, I got to get out of here. So thanks for having me on as always. You can check me out at Warrior Presents. I do a lot of stuff on Instagram. I'm at Warrior Presents on Instagram as well as Twitter. I do a lot of weird random stuff on Twitter. So if you want to follow me daily there, it's at Warrior Present with just a T, no S at the end of that. You can check me out there as well. So thanks for having me on as always. I still pay attention. I still watch videos. I still follow the news. Still got friends and family to play, and who knows, weirder things have happened. Who knows? And you never know. I've also upgraded my sound equipment. I've got 3 professional mics, you know, got a professional mixing board. So I'm still upgrading things. You know, I'm not going anywhere. Even if I've got an audience of 300, I'll still continue to do live streams and do silly story time and fun stuff like that. So.
Okay, well, thank you very much to Warrior. Now we'll head up to good old Maurice. You want to go ahead and pimp your Operation Metaverse, Ramon, anything else you have?
Yeah, Thursday nights, 10 p.m. we stream. We did not have a stream last Thursday, but we will have one next. T Money actually did some videos. She released kind of power record videos. She released, I think, 3 videos in the last few days. So you guys can check those out on our channel. And then also Sunday nights with Ramon Azab over on his channel, the Alliance Live Show, Sundays at 10:30. We'll be getting into that. Probably got a whole lot to talk about. We didn't stream last week, so it'll be a whole lot. Ranger joins us. Pretty much he is a regular panel member now. He's there every week. And Avinash from the Bovas Alliance, the 4 of us getting there and have some fun. Ramon's always good for a good awkward comment or two every stream, so you guys don't want to miss that.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Okay, let's head up then to Clash.
Yeah, you can find me on Clash DOE on YouTube or in the Scoundrel server. This last month, you know, I think most of the theory crafting we were doing was versus gas. Now we're ramping up our theory crafting on the Resistance and First Order. So if you enjoy theory crafting, enjoy using some of those oddball characters, enjoy that type of stuff, hit me up in either place.
And then last but not least, Nev, go ahead and pimp your stuff.
Okay, so you can catch me on the Escape Podcast. We're making a big push to 1,000. But I'm also doing lots of streaming of DSA because I'm loving the new DSA game. So, Duke Kaboom!
Yeah, Paul was in here earlier with Duke Kaboom in the chat.
Duke Kaboom! Love that character. Love that spell. So yeah, I've been streaming that every single day since I took up the game, and later on today I'll be streaming it on Twitch and YouTube on my private channel.
Awesome. So, and then for me, I am Against Infinity with Reality Skewed Gamers. Thank you to all of you guys here that are watching this and helped and kind of stuck with us through some of the little technical bufferings and all of that. Really appreciate all of that. If you guys could, please take a second to hit the thumbs up. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave comments about anything you guys thought about this video down below in the comments section. If you are looking for Reality Skewed Gamers content, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and you'll get notified whenever we go live. Head to the Discord right now because YouTube notifications are kind of... So if you head onto our Discord, I am notifying people for both YouTube and Twitch streams whenever we go live or launch a video. And at 7 p.m. Eastern time today, we will be premiering the latest episode of Good and Bad. So make sure you guys are there when that is there. I'll be in the chat about half an hour before if you guys want to chat before it goes live. And I think with that, we will get ready to sign out. So again, for myself and the entire crew that was here today, the Escape Podcast with Nev, Jedi Master Adastra, Clash DOE, Good Old Maurice with Operation Metaverse, and Warrior. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this lovely Saturday morning. Please make sure that you stay safe. Wash your hands. Everyone, please follow proper protocol. Stay isolated. We'll try and bring you as much entertainment on YouTube amongst all of us here to keep you guys entertained. But please stay safe as we know that it's crazy out there. And we will see you on one of our next videos. Take care, guys.